Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 225 for the week of September 1st, 2015. Beginning of a new month. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who is here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Toby, talk into your microphone a little bit closer. Hello. You're working. What are you working on, Toby?
A surprise.
Surprise. Can we talk about the surprise?
Sure.
What are you doing?
I am trying to finish the trailer or teaser for the commentary for Man of Steel, which is really Ryan v. Bryce.
So on the forums,
Wouldn't it be BVR?
on the Geekbox Facebook forum, it has been decided that a Ryan versus Bryce, with possible other members of the podcast involved as well.
Can I just watch and laugh?
Man of Steel commentary must happen. I don't know if it's going. I don't know if it's going to.
It has to now.
But Toby has decided to make a trailer for it. So there you go.
The audio is done, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get
Visuals probably be done tonight.
Maybe we'll get a sample of this in the end of the episode tonight. So
All right.
we got a handful of stories this week, some Twitter questions, keep it nice and short. I'm starting to feel a little bit under the weather, which sucks. So hopefully,
That happens a lot with you, Higgins.
no, I've been pretty good recently. Just over the weekend, I was out all weekend and picked up
You were outside and you're like, okay, I don't feel good anymore.
Yeah, basically.
I gotta go back in my cave.
Exactly. So let's see. There's a kind of a big. Well, there's a couple actually big comic news stories from this past week, both involving Marvel. But we're going to get some small ones first. Well, good and bad. But there was an interesting article on Bleeding Cool, who does a lot of rumor mongering and stuff like that, and a lot of stuff kind of comes out to the forefront because of these guys. Whether you like it or not, Bleeding Cool makes a lot of news stories happen. So one of the interesting points that he made over this week was that ICV2, which is the website that does all the sales charts for the comic book industry, they actually had every month they do their top 300 comic book sales and estimated numbers. And as we know, Marvel has been absolutely dominating with the Star Wars books this year. It's been just ridiculous. Well, between Star Wars, Darth Vader, Princess Leia, Lando, and Kanan, they basically outsell the entirety of Image Comics, making in single issue format, mind you. Physical
Image is really well in trade.
Physical single issue format, making the Star Wars comics arguably the third largest publisher in comic books. If you were to, because they are a kind of subset of Marvel. There was maybe a time where Vertigo could have taken that reign, but unfortunately not these days. So yeah, amazing to see those books selling so much. And it's funny because the comparison came down to, well, if you take Star Wars out of Marvel's sales chart numbers, the Marvel and DC books are selling much more even than...
It's like normal.
Yeah. Like, Marvel's been kind of blowing DC out of the water, but it's because of those Star Wars numbers. Just how much... It's like nearly 10% of the industry are those 5 Star Wars comics, which is absolutely insane. So, man, those Star Wars books, crushing it. The reason I bring this up and talk about the DC sales charts is I know last week we were talking about... there being some possibility that DC will be kind of pulling back on their DCU new line of titles, including Omega Man, Midnighter, all these other various books. Well, a couple other things came out this week that, especially an article from DC themselves in a newspaper that basically kind of
what was that? In a newspaper?
Well, also in the news and in some form of online and probably print media that kind of fight back against that rumor that they're going to be cutting back quite as much. And I'm very happy to hear that because I know again what DC's saying versus what actually happens. Who knows? But they've been saying we want to try to expand our audience. We want to try to do some different things. The sales chart doesn't matter. The sales don't matter. I mean, they matter obviously to a degree, but they don't care what place they're in versus Marvel or Image or anyone else. because they're trying to expand their line of titles and do something different.
Yeah.
Again, they could say they're doing this if they actually believe it. Who knows? But I feel, they may have had a few too many kind of quote-unquote experimental books. If they do pull back a tad, that's fine. But I don't want to see them go away entirely. We got some questions about, our favorite DCU titles later in the episode.
The newer ones, okay.
Yeah. So we'll get to that later. So I'm well,
DC's, even with the New 52, DC has had at least kind of a rotation of books that are quote-unquote experimental.
Right.
Whether or not they've been good, whether or not they've been great, whatever, it was always they kind of had this rotating thing, and they didn't say they were miniseries, they didn't say any of that, they just said, these are the books. And it was kind of based on whether or not they kind of took hold, and if they took hold, then they would keep going. If they didn't, it was kind of like, tell the story that you were going to tell, and you were done. So,
well, I think in more recent years it's become more obvious, but there's always been this group of rotating titles where, no books last forever. Or very few books last forever, I should say. So, all these third, fourth tier characters, all these Z-list characters that they launch stuff out of, they're not going to last, but they're willing to do 12, 18, 24 issues of them, and then they replace them with other stuff. It's just nowadays it's 6 or 8 issues or maybe 12 issues. So, I'll be curious to see.
Well, the thing is DC treats them like they're an actual book, right? Like it's an actual title that's coming out versus kind of like sometimes what you see with Marvel, where you flat out know that's a miniseries, from the get-go with some of their titles. Whereas, yes, it's probably going to be a mini, but they treat it more like it's an ongoing. It feels like a more ongoing book.
I guess it depends on what it is. Some are clearly marked as miniseries, like Batman Bizarro. Yeah. I know that Prez is going to be 2 6-issue miniseries, so it's going to be 6 issues, take a short hiatus, and then do the next 6. So some are marked specifically as miniseries. Is Dr. Fate and Doomed going to be around in a year? Probably not.
Yeah. Dr. Fate's not bad.
Dr. Fate's not bad, but I don't think it's not. I don't think it's clicking.
It's not clicking, right?
And the sales on a lot of these titles are mediocre at best. Some are doing great. For us here at the store, at least, Batman Beyond's doing really well. Starfire's doing really well. So there are some that are definitely kind of bucking the trend, but the majority of them are doing mediocre to I would say poor, but not like 1 copy or no copies. They're all selling. They're all that mid to low tier. Yeah. None have broken them. Gone up to Batman or Justice League levels. Nowhere even close. But it's unlikely they ever would. But there always has to be that middle class of comics. I feel like everything's been, if it's not 100,000 copies, get rid of it, and that's terrible because not every most great books didn't top the sales charts.
Yeah.
So,
we'll see. We'll get to that later with the questions.
Yeah. I really hope they stick around.
All right, what's next on the news block?
So we got a little movie stuff here. Not too much this week. I always call them Mads, but it's pronounced Mass. I should get used to that, or Maz. M-A-D-S, Mads. You know him as Hannibal. You know him as he was in the more recent James Bond reboot. So he's been in a bunch of stuff. He's going to be in Rogue One, upcoming Star Wars movie, and he is now rumored to be playing the villain in the upcoming Doctor Strange movie, opposite Benedict Cumberbatch. So the internet loves Benedict Cumberbatch. They also love Mads Mikkelsen. So I'm very excited for this, and not comic books, but something else this guy has done, which I mentioned briefly. Hannibal. If you've not watched the TV show Hannibal, man, can I not recommend that show high enough? That show is absolutely fantastic. If you listen to Geekbox, you've heard me talk. Actually, probably here as well. Heard me talk about Twin Peaks a number of times, and well, not exactly the same. It has a lot of weird kind of not similarities, but a similar style, similar tones.
You
dark,
like
weird,
the odd shows.
Dark, weird, kind of dreamy. goes between reality. It's don't just be like, oh, this is like that Silence of the Lambs thing. No, I mean, which is a great movie, but they do some amazing stuff with this show. This is one of the best shows I've seen in the last
I think
decade.
you just like to put oil on its skin.
I wish. Well, so they do the first 2 seasons are all prequel stuff. Then, the first 3 seasons. Season 4 was supposed to be Manhunter, but they got canceled in season 3, so they ended up seemingly kind of cutting season 3 in half. The first half being Hannibal's adventure in Europe, and the second half being Manhunter, which was the first movie, and then they were going to do Silence of the Lambs, and then Hannibal. They were going to continue the story and kind of redo the movies and the later books and stuff, but it got canceled. So I'm really hoping they bring it back and do something with it, because it's good stuff. So,
I believe your pitch is, if there was ever a show Netflix needed to pick up.
Oh, yeah. No,
then they
he's
could
great.
actually show Ass Crack.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, he's great. I definitely recommend that. All right, Toby,
Yes.
you should pay attention for this, because this is something.
I think it's funny that you mentioned Twin Peaks in conjunction with Hannibal, and not Brian Fuller, whose work always gets messed up on TV.
Yeah. No, Brian
He does
Fuller's
fantastic shows.
Brian Fuller. I've never seen any of his other stuff, so Brian.
You're
Fuller's
missing
the
out
showrunner.
completely. You're
Yeah,
missing
I know.
out completely.
Yeah.
Pushing Daisies is amazing. His new take on the Monster Family in Mockingbird Lane.
Oh, the
was
Munsters?
fantastic.
Yeah, they
It was
did that
a
one
really,
episode,
really
right?
cool, updated new take on it, and I really wish that would have taken off. And isn't he Wonder Falls? Isn't that him too?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe.
Yeah, Marshall's actually recommended like Pushing Daisies and like a couple of those to me.
Yeah, and this is like the one shade doesn't watch Hannibal, which is like amazing.
I have to look it up on Wonder Falls. I'm actually not entirely sure.
Oh,
of that one.
he's also, to bring it back to comics, he's doing kind of comics. He's doing, in theory, if it happens, the American Gods TV show.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Based on Neil Gaiman's novel. So.
Oh, based on his track record, it'll get canceled.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But that one's only one book, so
This guy's got a horrible track record, but at least Hannibal's amazing. So, yeah, I don't know why this guy can't have a show stay on the air, because it's damn good.
All right, Toby, you paying attention?
Hold on, no. Oh, it is Wonder Falls. Yeah, he was a producer on that.
There you go. So also movie related. I know, Toby, you seemed kind of, I don't know, maybe excited about this.
What?
Kevin Feige,
Yes.
who is the kind of head of Marvel Studios.
Yes.
I guess not kind of. He's the head of Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
There is a article in the Hollywood Reporter
Yes.
that he has broken free of
Tyranny.
former CEO, or I guess still, is he still CEO? Is he CEO of Marvel period, which is
think
owned
so.
by Disney?
Yeah.
But Perlmutter.
Yeah. But then there's the new butt now.
Right. So Ike Perlmutter, who'd been a long time owner or head of Marvel, very reclusive guy, no public identity. Like, people don't know who he is. People never see him. He never goes to any events. He's been notoriously cheap and stingy and very hands-on in a lot of the dealings with Marvel, and now he's one of, if not the biggest shareholder at Disney. I mean, when he sold Marvel to Disney, he got a big position at Disney. So, as great as the Marvel movies have been, we all know, because we've talked about a lot of this, that there's been a lot of kind of backroom drama and issues with payment, even going back to like
Terrence Howard days.
Iron Man 2, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the very first movies that Marvel did. So,
They almost lost Robert Downey Jr. for Civil War.
Yeah. So and then there's a lot of complaints about some of the actors,
Wanting to leave, not getting paid the right amount,
Yeah.
or what they deserve, rather.
Their paycheck, their salary isn't growing with the popularity of the movies.
Yeah, but the studio's got to do what the studio's got to do to survive and make sure that they can keep going on making these movies. However, you also got to be fair to their respective talents and what they bring to the table.
right?
So you can't really have pull a James Bond and have a new what's it called, Iron Man in Civil War. Be just kind of weird without Howard. So
Yeah.
And for some, they've been pointed that he's kind of been the reasoning behind a lot of these changes, that he's the one that wanted John Cheadle to replace Terrence Howard and stuff like that. A lot of the drama behind the scenes. So, like I said, we're not there. We don't know really what's going on, but it seems like, that's one big hurdle that Kevin Feige had. And now he's going to report directly into Alan Horn, right?
Yeah.
Is it Alan Horn? That's the name, the Disney executive?
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be great news. I mean, he's in charge completely now. Is really what it means to me. I mean, he basically reports into the top brass and "This is what I want to do. Sign me off." And and if he starts falling off the bus, I'm sure that basically there's security that there's one guy above him going, "No, maybe you're not going on the right ship anymore." So, but all in all, it seems like Kevin Feige got the keys to the reign at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of setting him up like John Lasseter. I think he's, head of Pixar and does what he wants to do. I mean, now he works more directly with DC, but I think he, or with Disney, I mean, but, Kevin Feige now, like you said, right, he cut out the middleman.
Yeah, he basically got the keys, right? Basically, he gets to make the decisions, but they still have someone above him. So in case he does lose it, that there's still someone more senior to actually take control of it.
Yeah, and and freeing up some of that budget. I mean, they've made so much money on these movies. I think they bought Marvel for $4 billion, and the movies alone have brought in $7 billion for Disney.
I'd be scared. I'm gonna be scared once Avenger comes out, the Infinity Wars.
Yeah, and that's not. I don't even think that's merchandise. I think that's strictly box office.
I'll be so scared. I mean, that's gonna be so much money.
Yeah. Well, Star Wars.
That's gonna be so much money too.
Force Awakens. I read an article over the weekend, or maybe it was Monday. The estimate. Merchandising alone is estimated to bring in $4 billion,
and that's before the movie comes out.
That doesn't include the movie.
Well, that's before the movie, right?
That's just merchandising. Yeah. That's not the movie ticket sales.
Oh man!
So
and excitement is so much more for these sequels than they are for the prequels.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's almost like the prequels all have forgotten memory at this point. Yeah. Target's running this really, really cool YouTube ad where it's basically kind of bridging the generations.
Nice.
So it's like this YouTube ad with like all these kids experiencing like kind of Star Wars for the first time, or certain moments, and the sharing of the parents who grew up with all this stuff. It's really, really well done commercial.
I haven't seen that. That's cool, though.
It's really cool, yeah.
Yeah, I think Disney is smart enough to let these guys steer their own ship.
Yeah.
They've done...
I mean, the ship has had a steady course for a very, very long time. I mean, Star Wars especially, I mean, they kind of learned a lesson with those prequels.
Well, the people they brought... The people that they brought in from Lucas, I think they know what to do, and now that Lucas is out, they have, they can definitely, they know what to do.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we're going to have a Star Wars movie every year.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, Kevin Feige obviously knows what's going on with the Marvel movies, just like John Lasseter knows what's going on with Pixar. And the best thing to do is let these guys do their work.
Yeah.
Don't get in their way.
I mean, you're sitting on a couple generations of talent, especially in Hollywood, and that just love these movies. I mean, J.J. Abrams loved Star Wars so much, and he ended up doing Star Trek and did an amazing job with Star Trek, and now he's on Star Wars. You have all of these people that have a love for, these characters and these worlds and stuff like that. It's similar to what...
We finally got the fans doing the movies, which is basically...
Yeah, I mean, that's what happened in comic books when comic books started to get big again in the 50s and 60s. We had all the fans from the stuff, growing up reading this, now working on these books. It seems like comics have that kind of rotation where it gets kind of stagnant, and then kind of this influx of people come in that are kind of...
with comics, it wasn't... I mean, it was later. It was like the 70s and 80s is when like kind of the fans comics got into comics. But no, I mean, I know what you mean. With movies, right, the people that are now in charge were the ones that grew up with the original versions of this stuff. So, that's...
These are the people that want the original version on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Right?
I hope. I really hope so. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen with Marvel Cinematic Studios going forward. Obviously, they've got a lot of big movies coming up, and they have to just keep this momentum going I never want it to end. You never know if it will end. At some point, it could just fall apart, and they could have 3 or 4 flops in a row, but they haven't anything even resembling a flop yet. So let's hope this keeps going.
All right, what's next?
This is bigger news for comics. Speaking of Marvel as well. This is I'm gonna say this is as bad as it gets. I mean, this is definitely first world problem stuff, but I don't know why after so many years companies cannot get big crossovers done right. I don't understand. I don't understand how we're this far in this many years, 20, 25 years, nearly 30 years if you go from Crisis or Contest of Champions.
Can you go and name one crossover that didn't have an issue?
Sure. I mean,
Superman, Spider-Man.
A lot of big events have run.
Oh, those kind of crossovers.
Yeah. Sorry, have run pretty flawlessly, but it seems like we've had some, in the last decade, a lot of high-profile fuck-ups from both sides, from Marvel and DC. Mm-hmm. Marvel had, Secret War. Civil War. Was huge delays, all sorts of problems when the book was coming out. Secret Wars now with a ton of problems, which we'll get into in a second. DC had it with Infinite Crisis, some big delays. They had it with Forever Evil, some big delays. Final Crisis had big delays. Like, I don't know why these companies can't get this worked out.
I mean, DC did kind of okay when they were doing Countdown, right? I mean...
Yeah, Countdown and Final Crisis.
And 52.
52, yeah. But those were a little different. I mean, this is like the miniseries. That's the crossover across, all the tie-ins and everything. So it's happening with Secret Wars. If you've been following us, and Bryce's favorite part of the podcast is when I read all the new release dates for all the upcoming issues of Secret Wars that have been pushed back because of delays. Well, we now have what must be the final set of delays on Secret Wars.
Final set of delays.
If Secret Wars is not over by the end of 2015, someone needs to get fired. I mean, someone should be fired anyway, but I guess you can't fire Jonathan Hibbing because he's already leaving. Yeah. So, I don't know, fire the editor. I don't know, fire someone because this is embarrassing.
Fire that guy that one guy had to report to.
So we know October was supposed to be the start of all the new Marvel titles. They were supposed to launch 60 titles in October, and that didn't happen.
60 titles went to... Oh, no, wait. It's over 6 months.
It's like 20, right? So now we are getting all Marvel, the Marvel reline, all different Marvel.
All different.
All the new titles between October and February 2016. Okay. Well, Secret Wars is supposed to end. Issue 8.
Way to shoot your retailers in the foot.
Way to shoot everyone. Issue 8 of Secret Wars is supposed to ship the very first week of October, along with like 20 crossover issues. And so we saw that, and you're like, that's not going to happen. So the final word right now is issue number 5 just came out. Issue number 6 is coming out September 23rd. It's not the final Wednesday. It's the second to last Wednesday of September.
All right.
Issue 7 is coming out the last week in October. Issue 8 is coming out the last week in November. And issue 9 is coming out the last week of December. What is issue 9, you may ask? Secret Wars is an 8-issue miniseries. Well, they have decided to take content from issue 7 and 8 and cut it so issues 7 and 8 are shorter than originally solicited, and they're making it a 9th issue. So there is no additional content. It is the same content. It is just going to be put in between 3 issues instead of 2.
So they just pulled a Lost.
Okay.
Yeah, they divided the last few seasons into shortened seasons.
The short seasons. Yeah.
So they get an extra season out of it.
It's so they can get an extra, $4 or $5?
I mean, if the page count drops that much, there has to be a price drop. There really should be a price drop.
I don't think there's going to be one.
There should be.
When you first said there's going to be an issue 9, I thought it was going to be like issue 13 on Heroes Reborn when they had the Jim Lee guys in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah. The one last issue.
Yeah.
So issue 9 is going to be the end of Secret Wars. It's going to ship. It has not been solicited yet. It is believed to be the last week of December, and it better come out by then, or we're going to have some problems.
Are all the issues saying 1 of 8, 2 of 8, 3 of 8, 4 of 8, 4 of 9, 5 of 9?
Yeah.
Really?
It'll say 6 of 9.
6 of 9, yeah.
Really?
6 hasn't come out yet, but 1 through 5 already did, yeah. So stupid.
So 1 through 5 says 8, and then it's going to jump to 9?
Yeah.
Wow.
So not only that,
It's going to cause some good confusion for in 10 years when people trying to collect this.
Yeah, at least a couple of the crossovers. By the time this podcast goes up, there may be more, but because I think we should get, actually Thursday we should get word if there's more delays. But at least 3 of the books are being pushed back. Ghost Racers, for some reason, is being pushed back to the end of September. Old Man Logan's being pushed into October, and Ultimate End's being pushed into November. These are the final issues of all those books. Why? I have no idea. But the great thing is that all the new Marvel comics are coming out starting the first week of October. So all the post-Secret War books are coming out in October.
Stupid.
And then November we'll have the second batch, and December we'll have the third batch and everything. Now, how Marvel announces this, so that they actually haven't announced the delays in Secret Wars. Those all come from the retailer site, which have new dates. So again, that may not be 100% official, but that's as official as we have. It's coming directly from Marvel's source. The only thing they've announced is issue number 9 shipping in December. At the same time, they said, and I'm paraphrasing here, of course. You can find the official press release, but the general gist of it was, hey guys, you remember the original Secret Wars. Now, what they didn't... Now, this is me talking. In the original Secret Wars, what happened was you had the Secret Wars book launched, and then all the Marvel comics changed while the Secret Wars book was going on. You had the new Spider-Man. You had, just all the changes, Spider-Man in the black costume. That's kind of the big one. But all the changes that were done post-Secret Wars were made in the book. And, how did this happen? I don't know. Go check out Secret Wars and then come back here. And, you'll find out why things are different in Secret Wars as it goes on. And then in the main books, the story continues. So as an homage to the original Secret Wars...
Bullshit!
We are... we will have the series continue, but the new comics will come out in October before the series is over. And how did all these crazy, wacky changes happen? Well, you have to read Secret Wars to find out. What a fucking flying load of horse crap.
It's bullshit.
That if anyone gives away a spin of the year award, just how can we spin this piece of shit news into something good?
They didn't even do that.
Someone at Marvel needs to get a raise for the spin they're doing on this series.
Okay.
It is
this is the thing.
amazing.
Secret Wars, they didn't renumber.
The books?
Yeah.
No.
The books, they just kind of had this new thing happen. It was go read Secret Wars, which just happens in between this issue and this issue. It's not like it's a brand new, earth-shattering, different world.
No, but I mean...
It's not like it's a crisis.
There were some changes. But this is pure spin. This is pure bullshit.
It's not even spin. This is them just being stupid.
Well...
It's like an idiot telling us what, oh no, we're doing this because of this. What are you saying? Civil War is an homage to Secret Wars?
Well, it's spin, all right? I mean, they're trying to spin something good out of it. So
I got this brilliant idea. Reverse spin your ass back to telling us when the fuck this shit's going to come out. And I don't know, maybe delay some shit. I don't know. You probably have plenty of miniseries to shove in there in the meantime.
Well, if they pushed everything back to January, there would be 4 Marvel comics coming out in the course of 2
That's
months.
all right. That's all right. Star Wars numbers will carry them through those months.
Yeah.
Just put out 4 more Star Wars books.
So, this is... I don't know how they fuck up on this level. And I feel bad for the customers. I feel bad for...
This has to have been... Secret Wars had to have been in... planning and all that stuff 2 years, 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. They said they've been planning this since the beginning of the all-new Marvel Now stuff. They've been planning this for about 2 months before the book launch. Don't fool yourself. So, for anyone that doesn't want to know how Secret Wars ends, you may want to skip ahead a few minutes. I don't know, but I'm going to tell you exactly how it ends. There's no reason for them to say, oh, it's a surprise ending, because we know exactly how this ends. Dr. Doom, Reed Richards, and Invisible Woman are killed at the end of the series. Doom reforms the reality in the world, and him, Reed, and Sue are killed. There's no question that that's what happens. They're not in any of the upcoming stuff.
Ooh. And Thing is going to lose his pants.
Well, Thing is in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Does he have his pants?
He does.
Oh.
Johnny Storm's in Inhumans. And Reed and Sue and Doom are going to be gone. Because they can't publish Fantastic Four comics.
Well,
so that's
they
what they're
can't
do.
publish. They just don't want to.
Well, they don't want to. So they're going to kill them, and Doom and at least Doom and Reed. I mean, maybe Sue will survive, but I doubt it.
And then,
Doom and Reed are dead.
And then down the road, when Marvel finally gets the rights back to Fantastic Four, miraculously these characters will come back.
The next previews there will be Fantastic Four #1 by their biggest creators. Yeah. So this sucks for retailers because it's just all these delays. This sucks for fans. The people that pre-ordered. Well, and for the people that did pre-order the entire series through me, you will get a shipment the first week of October, and then you will get a shipment apparently the last week of December with the straggler releases. So I'm sorry, I don't have any other way to do that. It sucks, but Secret Wars is a cool story. Some of the crossover books have been really good. A lot have been mediocre and some have been terrible, but that's it's, what are you going to do, right? I mean, that's how these things work. But the delays on this are unforgivable.
Well, I mean, for you and other retailers, these books are like just DOA sometimes.
A lot of them have. The sales are sad on some of these books, and if you go back a couple months, you're going to hear me saying, "Oh my God, the sales in these Secret War books are off the charts. It's amazing." We were having people lining up; they were buying every variant cover. It was blowing through. Now it's like I open the door on a Wednesday, and it's like here comes the
tumbleweeds.
The tumbleweed. It's like,
and he doesn't even come into the store; he just blows.
He just right by. Man, people don't give a fuck. I mean, the big ones. Thor, Old Man Logan, those are still doing well. Civil War, Ultimate End. I mean, the bigger titles are still doing well, but the mid and lower tier ones are dying on the vine.
You don't even stock Ghost Racers for the shelf anymore.
A handful of them I've cut to sub only because they just completely dried up by issue 2 or 3. A few of these books, I'm losing 30-40% of readers issue to issue. That's unheard of. So the amount of people that are, even the main series has dropped about 25%.
Really?
Like 1 through 4 sold. Like 1 sold amazing, 2, 3, 4 sold just very consistently. 5 dropped about 20%, and
with the delay in 6,
and that's gonna 6 is gonna get hit even hard. So, are
you even gonna order 9 at this point?
Of course, but it's still a really good selling book. It's just not nearly as good as it was. So,
and this whole another thing that I don't understand is this dragging out this release of the #1s. The interest that we had going into it when they gave us this magazine that had like 45 of the titles in there. We could kind of see it, get behind it. These are coming out in October. We were excited. It's like, all right, 60 titles in October. All right, it's doable. Okay. But then they go, oh, yeah, now we're going to stagger this over 6 months.
Well, we talked about this because...
Or 4 months.
We talked about this because they don't have a lot of these books lined up yet.
This is all creative speculation.
They had a bunch of stuff with artist TBA. They had a bunch of books that were like, yeah, we're going to have this book, and we'll announce it when we find creators for it. There's a lot of the stuff that they don't even have ready yet. So, it's... I expected October to be the biggest month the store has ever had because we were going to get 60 Marvel #1s. Now it's going to be a whimper. It's going to be
20 books are coming out supposedly?
I think it's like 2022. It's about a third of them. Yeah, about a third.
And then they're going to stagger the rest of the 2/3 over November, December, January, and February?
Yeah.
So 4 months you're staggering 2/3?
Yep. I think it's going to be December is going to have, November is going to have a bit more, then a little less, and a little less, and a little less. And yeah, it's annoying.
Do you have any excitement from people in the shop?
Couple people said they'll take all the #1s. But, the vast majority are like, whatever I'm signed up for, just keep me going. And a couple of the books that I expected would get some excitement have. Doctor Strange has gotten some excitement. But, the ones they're banking on, like A-Force, nobody wants. The Uncanny Avengers that,
with the fast forward Quicksilver?
Yeah, our sales by the end of Uncanny Avengers for the Remender series were about half as what they were a year earlier, and I'm looking at like half that again. Drew Duggan and
I mean, is there any
people
excitement
just
for
don't
any of
care.
the Guardians books?
Probably just continuing what they were. Again, Guardians is down well over 50% for us from when it started. So I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea what's going to go on.
Well, I mean,
I'm worried.
Well, you're looking at it like you're not ordering it like it's a big new launch event. You know, where you're like, oh, people are going to come and get this. I mean, the interest doesn't seem like it's there. So
I'll tell you where the interest is in those hip hop variants.
Oh, yeah.
I've resold a lot of those. If you want those, go on the site and pre-order a set. It's we're selling. We're going to sell
Feel
out.
free to tell Ryan all about the music when he come by the books.
Oh,
every single cover.
I saw the list of every single cover. I literally knew who two of those were, and I recognized two out of
one
horrible
was
human
Dr.
being
Dre
out of
and
60.
the other was Bob Marley.
Out of 60. Was Bob Marley on there?
I don't know.
No.
What?
I recognized Straight Outta Compton.
Okay.
And there's one more, I think.
You mean
I
the Dr.
remember.
Dre album?
Maybe.
Okay.
Is there one with a baby?
Huh?
Is there one the one with the baby?
Notorious B.I.G.?
Yeah. I recognize that cover.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with Compton, sorry.
No. I know. No, I'm saying the covers I
that's the two.
recognize.
That's the two.
I think those are the only two that I was
That's the
like,
two.
I know what that is. Yeah, I've
Those
seen that
are
before.
probably the two most famous covers, I think.
That was one of those really thick 2-disc ones, wasn't it?
Like, I know what those are. Toby, you can explain what everything is.
I will.
All right. Bryce, if you want those books, let me know. ASAP.
I mean, any chance to yell at you, Ryan Higgins,
I know, I know.
I'll take.
I know.
Especially over music.
I don't know. I think it's sad to see what's happening in Marvel.
It should have been New 52 times at least.
I mean,
twice,
with
right?
the lineup
And
that
it's
they
gonna be-
even with the lineup that they had in that all new, all different Marvel free magazine preview they gave us.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there was more excitement out of those handful of books. You could get more excitement out of those handful of books than you could out of the DC ones. Like, DC gave us that little thing with a couple of things on each page and stuff like that, like way back in 2011.
Yeah.
And sorry, it really you were excited for Justice League, you were excited for Batman, you were excited for all of the big titles you're supposed to be excited for.
Yeah.
Everything else was just kind of, we're here.
Yeah.
We're going to have these books, right? But now Marvel had this great opportunity to have a kick-ass October with not only the end of a major event, but the launch of a brand new universe for them.
Yep.
And they're just kind of piddling out. I mean, are they 22 books? How many books are they putting out a week now?
Don't quote me on that number. It's something like that. I mean, it's going to be about 55 books at the end, 55 to 60 books at the end.
Yeah, but month of October, they're only going to come out with whatever dribble comes out of Secret Wars, and
well,
the
it's
next
the last 20 titles, and then those 20 plus a bunch of specials of one shots. So yeah, they're filling in to keep that number up.
So November's going to be
bad.
however many new books we get, and then
it's going to be issues 2s and 3s, and then another 15
because they're double
new book.
shipping,
and then some of them, a couple of them,
okay.
And then another 15 books or something.
Yay.
So yeah, I hope these books are good. But at the end of the day, could we have another New 52? Could we have that same level of energy in 1 month? I just don't even think it could happen, with Marvel.
I think it could happen with Marvel, but not with the way they go about spinning their shit.
Not like this. Yeah.
No,
they fucked
DC,
up bad.
DC did a good job with the New 52 of getting us into it, letting us know what was going on.
Yeah, but the 6th Marvel relaunch, no one gives a fuck anymore.
It's like nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
It's another issue 1 of Amazing Spider-Man. I already have 5 of these fucking things, and I don't even have the one that's worth a shit ton of money.
Yeah,
I don't know.
We shall
Marvel,
see.
You're fucking up, Bryce. I'm sorry. You can't defend this.
I got a bunch of questions. Let's set up some of these guys. This is from Cam on Twitter.
Cam.
Can I ask a question? Yes, you may. And then they never send me a question, so that's a great question. Thank you for that.
Jesus.
This is from Medson. He says, "What do you think Ant-Man?" He said, "Do you think Ant-Man is going to be a full member of the Avengers?" I'm assuming he means in the movie.
Size-wise, he's actually going to be tall.
Shut up. And he says, "What's his recent history like before the movies?"
Wait, that's a real question?
Yeah. Well, recent history for Scott Lang has been dead. He was dead for quite a while.
When did he come back?
I don't even remember.
Wait, he pulled a how?
I don't even remember when he came back. He just like, oh, I'm back. Okay, good, fine. Your movie's coming out now. Yeah, but he got killed off a while ago. So, but now he's back. Is he going to be a full member of the Avengers? Maybe.
Wait, are we talking cinematic or comic
movie?
books?
Yeah, movie. I could see him. I could see them bringing him in on a pretty regular basis. Yeah. Although,
can we just say that Ant-Man is one of the original founding members?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but not this version, right? It's a different version.
Well, but technically,
we got a lot of Avengers.
Technically,
we got a lot of Avengers.
Pym in this one, he could be one of the original founding members.
Yeah, sure.
But like
they set him up as like a member of Shield.
Yeah.
Toby.
Yes.
There's a lot of characters in the Avengers these days. There's a lot of people. It's almost like they need to split the team in half.
Oh, yeah.
Move one half to the West Coast.
Yes.
You ready?
Yes.
You got some West Coast Avengers?
Yes. Then you got to bring in Black Knight and Tigra and Moon Knight. And then we have a team. U.S. Agent, Hawkeye leading the team. Ooh.
What if it was Hawkeye, Bucky, War Machine? Because that's
Yeah.
That's part of it.
In.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Mockingbird can come over from
hell yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And then the East Coast team can wear leather jackets. Brown ones.
So my thing is so if they expand it and we get a West Coast Avengers in the movie cinematic universe, so the first flop would be the Great Lakes Avengers.
Oh, that'll be great.
It's not funny.
That would be amazing. Mike asked us, I felt like I answered this, but maybe we didn't. Did we talk about the Valiant Legends of the Geomancer series? Did we talk about that in the last week or two?
Which one? Is that the one that's
the retailer incentive one?
Oh, the one that we're not getting?
Yeah. I felt like I mentioned this, but...
No, you and I think, talked about this so much while you were sitting there looking at the previous magazine going, what the fuck are you doing, Valiant? Why are you making this a retailer incentive?
Well, so here's his question. He said, I asked previously about the group's opinion on Valiant's Legends of the Geomancer retailer incentive series. In particular, your thoughts as a retailer and those, if any, of Valiant fans on the podcast. Now, a little backstory, in case you don't know what this is. Legends of the Geomancer is a 4-issue miniseries from Valiant Comics that is a retailer incentive comic. I don't know that any company's ever done anything like this before. There's a series called Book of the Dead. It's out right now. That has
There's Book of Death.
Book of Death. Yeah, that's right. This Legend of the Geomancer series is based on your orders of that comic. So a 1 in 25 variant comic book, not cover, a 1 in 25 variant comic. So for issue number 1, if you order 25 copies of Book of Death, you got a copy of Legends of the Geomancer. It's an entire new original comic that you would get one of. So for the handful of customers, I said, hey, would you pay money, like variant cover money for this? And they all said nope. So I did not order those covers.
And I said no.
Well, issue number 1 was fully returnable, so I could have ordered them and eaten it and then just sold them and then returned them. Issue number 2, however, in order to get Legend of the Geomancer, you had to order, it was a 1 in 10 variant cover. That would mean I would have to order probably about 40 copies of Book of Death to cover my subscribers on that. I would not sell 40 copies of that book in a million years.
No.
So, it's one of the worst incentives I've ever seen in my entire life. Hey, not only Marvel fucks up too, Valiant fucks up bad too.
Yeah. It's going to be a really great trade when it comes out.
They said it's not going to be collected, it's not digital.
Yeah, okay, they're idiots.
Well, I don't know.
They're saying this trying to pump up this, but I mean, if you look at the numbers, at the sales numbers for number 3, I mean, are people really going to be buying? Just
like Brian K. Vaughan's digital-only comic wasn't going to be published in trade by Image. I can't even remember what it was. And I'm like, yeah, I'll just buy the trade. And everyone's like, no, it's not going to be collected. It's digital only. I'm like, yeah, right. Just the trade will be out in a year. And sure enough, the trade's coming out. They announced it in Expo. No, this is one of the most insulting retailer incentives ever. It makes me so mad. It pisses off fans. It makes me not even. I mean, I didn't even care. It's a non-issue.
I was interested in Book of Death, and because I've been enjoying most of the Valiant titles that I've been reading. You know, they've kind of trimmed their line down. They're sticking with Exo Man of War, Unity, Ninjak, Imperium. They have a couple of titles floating around that are just bleh, but I don't even look at those. And I've really, really enjoyed those. And this is supposed to be a crossover between those things.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jeff Lemire's doing Bloodshot Reborn, which has been amazing. And you told me about this retailer incentive comic, and I'm like, I really don't give a shit about Book of Death now. Like, why do I care about this? Reading this series when you're doing this dumb incentives just to get something that goes along with this series.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Favorite video... this is from NES Matt. NES. Favorite video game based on a comic. I love X-Men Legacy 2. And you can't say Batman Arkham. That doesn't count. You have to pick something else.
I can't say the Arkham game?
No, you can't. You have to pick something else.
No, you have to base on his name and do a 16-bit era game.
8 or 16-bit?
Yes.
Old school Batman game, 89 Batman game. That's good stuff.
Hold on. Wait, what do you say? The favorite comic book?
Favorite video game based on a comic. X-Men arcade game. Love that. Welcome to Die.
Hold on. I know this.
DC Universe Online.
That doesn't count. It's not 16-bit.
Specifically 16-bit? I talked about this in the Geek Box a while ago.
Yes.
I remember liking both Maximum Carnage and the Death and Return of Superman video games, but I have not played those since they probably came out, so I'm sure they're terrible, but I liked them when I liked them when they were out.
I remember being enormously excited for I think it was called Freedom Force. Like, it was the fighting game.
Yeah.
Where you could be Batman, Superman, and those guys. I was like,
Freedom Force is not licensed stuff.
Oh, was it?
No.
I have a cartridge for it. Was it Task Force?
Oh, Task Force X?
Justice League Task Force?
The fighting game, yeah.
Yeah.
That's different.
But I played it, I think, for 20 minutes. And that's the saddest money I ever spent. But no, if Ninja Turtle counts on the Game Boy, I played the hell out of that game. I mean, it was just... Remember walking to school and walking back and playing...
the arcade game?
No, the Game Boy one.
Yeah.
The Game Boy one. But the arcade one is one of my all-time favorite games. Man, but yeah, superhero automatically had a little, what's it called? When I had a superhero game, even though if they were bad, I would force myself to like it because it was superhero related, right? Because I remember playing that Game Boy Spider-Man game, and it was like a stick figure Spider-Man. It didn't even look like Spider-Man, right? But I'm like, I just forced myself to like it because it's fucking Spider-Man. The other one I really like is the Punisher on the Game Boy, where it was like a first-person shooter, where you were just a square, and you just shoot everybody down, and you have to make sure you don't shoot the civilians.
Nice.
And then there's boss fights where you have to hit the boss, but then Spider-Man would swing in and save the people for you because you can't go do it yourself, and you have to throw grenades and stuff. That was a phenomenal game.
I played the original X-Men on NES.
That was a bad game.
That was
the one with Gambit. That was really hard.
Yeah,
it was not a good game. It was rough.
Wasn't it called Spider-Man and the X-Men?
No,
that was a different one.
It was just X-Men.
Huh. There was a couple different ones.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go with Punisher on the Game Boy and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the Game Boy.
I don't remember playing much comic book related games when I was little. I played TMT Arcade. That was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember too many of those. I mean, I was out of comics kind of by the time a lot of those games started coming out, for Super Nintendo and stuff.
Yeah.
So
this is from Stefano. He says,
Stefano?
To those who read,
your box is on the way.
Oh yeah. We're talking about the DCU books, and he said,
"Congrats on your rank in Hearthstone."
Oh, geez. He said, "To those who read DC, what's been your favorite DCU title?" That means all the new launch titles.
New launch stuff.
And if you could choose, what character would you want to DCU? YOU. So there's some that I'm liking more than others, but I'm going to pick my surprise hit, my favorite of the books. I got two. I got two that really surprised me how much I like them. Because I wasn't expecting anything. Yeah. The first is Midnighter. Midnighter is a fucking ton of fun. That book is great. Cool action, cool character. It's like...
Does he hang out on golf clubs?
No. It's just a cool book. I mean, he fucks some people up so bad in that book, and I like the art. It's a cool style. I really like that book.
I like one artist on it. The fill-in artist they had.
Well, they bounce back and forth between a few, but I think it all works. The second book for me, by far, easily, is Martian Manhunter. I love that book. The new Martian Manhunter book is super cool, especially with the reveal from issue 3. And I won't spoil it if you haven't read it, but that last page was like
Mr. Biscuits.
Did you?
Yeah, I read it.
Okay.
I read it today.
Yeah, that last page was
okay. That last issue, the preview, issue 1 and 2 were great. That issue 3,
what?
The reveal at the end was cool.
Yeah, it was.
Getting from the beginning of the book to the end of that book confused the living fuck out of me.
Why?
And it might be just because of the distance of time that I've read 2 to 3, but like it felt disconnected in a way. Right, like the beginning is like, oh shit, he actually did it, and then the end is a great reveal. But in between, I'm like, what the hell is all this?
Going on?
Yeah, like what's going on? Like, there's really a kind of disconnect in.
Well, they bounce back between. They show all the different kind of characters. They kind of bounce back from character to character, and then you get to the end reveal, which is like, oh, that's why they're bouncing back, because this is all connected.
Yeah.
So.
But again, I didn't like how they did it in issue 3. Issue 1 and 2, I enjoyed it. Yeah. I liked it. It was good. This issue, I didn't think it was executed very well. But the reveal at the end was a good reveal.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where they're going to go with it. So what's your guys'? Oh, and the character I'd want to DCU'd. I haven't loved the Justice League Unlimited version of Adam Strange. I want like an awesome ass Adam Strange comic.
You want a space detective Adam Strange?
I want like OG Adam Strange stuff, but like done with a modern spin. Like take the coolness of Omega Men, the way they go about that book, but make it an Adam Strange origin story. Put Alana back on Ron. Like I really like. I love that character, and I'd like to see them do more of them.
For me, well, I mean. Okay, I'm not caught up on a lot of the books because they came out during the summer, and I've been behind. So, like, I haven't read Harley Quinn and Power Girl, so I don't know that. I've only read, like, 1 issue of Starfire. I've enjoyed Omega Men as it's progressed. The preview in the first issue didn't really catch me very well, but issue 2 and 3 I really enjoyed. Funny enough, I really, really enjoy Cyborg. Like, Cyborg has been
first two have been good.
Solid book.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's not really too much of like a favorite I have. I think there's definitely books that I didn't like. Like We Are Robin just didn't click with me at all. I tried.
You know what? So Toby's giving Brock the luck. I know that's one of Toby's favorites. Issue 1, and I'd say I was half and half. Issue 1 didn't really click with me, and 2 was kind of half and half with me. I like 3 though. I think 3 kind of they picked up, and I'm curious where they're going with it now. So I was a little kind of iffy on it, but I like 3 a lot. What?
It's still
at least you came around. I was going to say you're an idiot for not liking him to begin with.
At least it's not doomed.
Oh, that got 1 issue and then nope, done.
No,
Dr. Fate is okay.
Dr. Fate's okay.
I think Dr. Fate will hit those people that kind of like obscure characters. And just Prez was really good too. I haven't read it past issue 1 yet, but the issue 1 was great. What else do we have? I mean, Green Lantern Lost Army is okay.
Don't Bryce it. Just pick your one.
Let's Bryce the shit out.
So
of
what character do you want? New 50 or DCU'd, and you can't say
Outsiders or Geoforce.
You can't say Outsiders or Geoforce.
Wait, what does that really mean? Just basically the New 52U? What's the U?
It's the thing they're running. It's DCU.
DCU.
Yeah, but what does that really stand for?
It's Prez, Batgirl, Constantine.
Oh, like a new take
Omega
on a character.
Men. It's like the kind of a bit of an indie modern spin.
I got you. All right, cool.
Yeah.
2 characters because you have to have them together, and that would be Booster Gold and Blue Beetle. Ted Cord, Blue Beetle.
But do you want it? I want classic Booster and...
Yeah, wait a minute. No. Is DCU where we got the Gambit Green Lantern and stuff and on all that weird stuff going on?
No.
That's not DCU?
I mean, technically, but I think what he's asking...
It's the Batgirl.
It's the one. It's the start. No, I think it would be great to have the classic stuff, but a more modern spin and a little bit more serious. Because that stuff was...
that
stuff was fun, but really...
No. No, I want the guys doing Batmite and Bizarro to do a Booster Gold and Blue Beetle series.
Now, if it was the stuff that they were doing in Booster Gold, where he was going back with Ted and having the antics that Jan Jurgens did in the Booster Gold run that's good. That I'm cool with.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what do you like
Blue and Gold?
What do you like in?
Well, I don't think it's a surprise, but We Are Robin is the freaking shit. So I'm going to go with that book as my book.
See, you would think I would like it. I always like the teenage books, but the first issue I was like, it's okay. But
I was going to say something that would be really bad and could be considered racist, but I will not say it.
But no, I think it's gotten better. I think every issue's gotten better.
Good. All right. Well, I really, really like that book since day one, and I picked it up, and I actually had very much a New Warriors vibe to it, I thought. Yeah, so I really dug it that way. In fact, I joked originally with you that Night Thrasher is back, but in the DC universe.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed that book. What character I like to have DCU'd? And I'm probably not allowed to say Nightwing and any of those, but I'm a cheap out and say my next best thing, but Cassie.
So you saw that they're actually going to bring her back in some fashion.
They are?
In Cassandra Cain, all right?
Yeah.
Batgirl. It's unclear what's happening, but Cassandra Cain is supposed to be in the Batman and Robin Eternal weekly series that's coming up.
Okay.
Because there's a promo shot that has... She's in there somewhere, but she's not Batgirl. And I don't think she's Black Bat. She's just, I think...
She could just be
Cassandra
Cassie?
Cain, yeah. So, I don't know what's going on with her, but she may be back. They already brought back Stephanie Brown, so...
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoilers back.
Spoilers back.
Spoilers back.
Although I think Damian would be a really cool DCU character too. To do like a really indie dark take on him.
Yeah,
I actually really dig. Maybe his time at the League of Assassins before he rejoined Batman. That would be a really cool DCU book of Damian Wayne.
Yeah. Jeez, I got a ton of questions here. Let's quick hit some of these here. Mitchell,
Finally writing in.
Mitchell.
Geez, Dad or 3.0. He just had a kid a little while ago.
He says, I read Injustice Gods Among Us year one when it came out, but nothing past that is worth getting back into. I never read any of that. Did you?
I read
a little bit?
I read year one. I think I read the whole thing. Year two came out and I read a couple issues, but I just couldn't really stay with it. I think it wasn't bad stuff. Like I enjoyed it, like the Batman stuff that surrounds the game and all that. Like I enjoy the books. I'm honestly like I'll probably just pick up the trades or something.
I've heard good things about Injustice, but I haven't really got into them. So, this is a tough question. I'm going to ask it, but we can actually think about this and maybe answer it next week because this will take some thought. Trenchcoat Batman on Twitter says, "Is there any
in Batman v Superman?
Maybe. Is there any dangling or abandoned plots that you want resolved?" That's a tough one because I can't think of that's top of my
head. Is that a current thing that I'm just not up on?
What's that?
Trenchcoat Superman? I mean Batman?
No, it's just his name on Twitter.
Oh.
Yeah.
There was an Elseworlds
now I
Batman
get it.
that had a trench coat.
Oh yeah. I mean, nothing's jumping off.
Can I say Secret Wars?
Oh, jeez. I want to say there was a handful of stuff pre New 52, like a lot of those books, like Damian hanging out with the Teen Titans, and Alan Scott in his stupid lantern outfit.
That is like the worst.
It is the worst outfit.
Costume outfit ever.
It's so bad.
And you know what's hilarious? That's the back issue we don't have of that Justice Society.
It's terrible.
Or that JSA series.
Yeah,
it's the one everyone gets.
Like, there's a couple things like that just, like...
Gail Simone's Batgirl?
I mean, that ended her run, but...
Yeah, but I want to know what happened after that. Like, I don't believe what's going on in Burnside right now is what happened after that. All right.
Wait, didn't she already put that out? She becomes Bane.
Oh, yeah.
I guess.
I
wanted to see what else was going on, though.
He also asks, favorite supervillain? For my money, nobody beats Dr. Doom.
Favorite supervillain?
Yeah. That's tough.
That's pretty good. What's wrong with that? Just because they haven't done him right for a while?
Nothing's wrong with Dr. Doom.
All right.
Yeah, no, Doom's a great choice.
So what's the
No, it's my...
your pick.
He's unsure about what his favorite villain is.
I know what Bryce's is.
Magneto?
Yeah.
Magneto?
Yeah, I know what Charles's is.
Who's Charles?
I'm going to get Strife.
Oh, jeez.
I could be wrong.
You know, I don't know that I really have favorite villains the way I have favorite heroes.
Can I say a trio?
Sure.
I love the Gotham City Sirens.
But like, are any of them
They're not really
They're not really
villains.
villains, right?
Suicide
and
Squad?
so yeah, like
They're not really villains either.
right. Okay, so what's happened in recent years is a lot of the villains have almost become like almost heroes in some fashion.
Yeah.
Like the Rogues. I love the Rogues. I love the Flash Rogues, but they almost sort of become heroes themselves.
Yeah.
There's villains. There's Lex Luthor, Doctor Doom. There's Joker,
Riddler.
And so I think it's tough because a lot of the mediocre, mid-level, or kind of non-traditional, not like that top 10 villain list. It's where it gets a little muddy. It's hard. Rogues Gallery, it's Flash. I love
Even
Flash.
Sinestro's gone.
And Sinestro's like,
good.
not a good guy, but not a bad guy either.
He's just an asshole.
It's tough, yeah. And then you have things like Galactus that are. Is Galactus a supervillain? Not. He's just a force of nature. He's
Cloud.
He's not a villain. The
Cloud is just his jizz.
Jeez. He's just life.
Die, planet!
This is from Anthony. He says, "Do you think another animated comic?"
Wait, do we get to answer that question?
Yeah, answer. Go ahead. What's your answer?
Without saying any of the obvious ones, I say Bushman.
Bushman.
Yeah.
Fuck.
From Moon Knight. I always liked him when he showed up.
Okay.
Other than that, it's the obvious one, like Joker, Red Skull, and all the Scully people. Oh, Crossbones! I love Crossbones. I love Crossbones.
Cool.
So I'm really excited for this new Civil War movie.
Yeah.
That little 17-second leak footage of Crossbones is badass.
He's actually Crossbones now.
Yeah, that's really cool. He actually kind of looks like Night Thrasher.
Nice. Anthony asks, do you think another animated comic book movie will ever get a theatrical release like Mask of the Phantasm?
Wait, didn't that get a...
That did. Like it.
Oh.
I would hope so. I'd love to see animated. Oh, well, we are. We're getting the animated Batman Lego movie. That's supposed to happen.
I don't think that counts. That's probably not what he had in mind.
It's animated.
Yeah, but I don't think that's... He was like, a Bruce Timm one or
Big Hero 6? We have to get an animated Marvel movie at some point. There's no way Disney doesn't do it at some point.
I just want to say Captain Marvel might work better as an animation.
Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
I'd love that. Yeah, Shazam?
I would almost think that's,
Absolutely. Do it like, get John Lasseter to do it, or not John Lasseter, get, what's his face? Do it like Iron Giant.
Yeah. Well, that's Brad Bird.
Brad Bird, yeah.
But like the Mike Uncle, no, not the Mike Uncle book, the guy who did Bone, the Jeff Smith one, that book was amazing.
Yeah. This is from Matt. It says, so how does binding actually work and how do I get started?
Okay, I'm going back to editing. See you guys. Okay.
Go to harriganrobinson.com, tell them Comics Conspiracy sent you, and they'll get you hooked up.
It's okay. So that's the simple way to actually get the books bound. The difficult part about binding is mapping. Mapping is really, really tricky because you have to decide what you want to include, how you want to include it. What do you want to include? Cameos. Do you want to include small stories where they show up in a couple of panels?
Yeah.
Right. There's like a lot of stuff that goes into like figuring out what you want to do for your mapping. If you're kind of just like you like hunting down books and finding these issues on the cheap and then just want to throw them together in something that resembles a trade that's already been mapped out, go for it. But yeah, I'm trying to, oh God, what's the website I've been to? I think it's Uncollected Editions or something. There's a huge forum where people get together and kind of discuss out, mappings and show their stuff and all that. So
there's a lot of stuff to look into.
The one recommendation I can make is just pick one thing.
Yeah.
Do that. Ignore everything else, even though the urge to do other stuff is going to be there. Just finish that one thing and then pick something else.
Or you could be like me and just wait for the trades to come out.
Never actually buy.
No,
Birds of Prey
you just have to wait for us to get a couple of them together, and then they start finally releasing it. So,
I guess that's
because I did Secret 6, Ghost of Secret 6, and then they released that.
I was really close to doing Birds, and was really close to doing Cassie Batgirls. Really close to doing, a lot of them. And I'm really happy that the regular trades are coming out.
One last question, and Toby, you're going to like this one.
Oh, yeah?
It's from Keith.
Hello, Keith.
He says, thoughts on Joe Mad's Kickstarter
for the video game?
Yeah, for a Final Fantasy VII-esque Battle Chasers JRPG.
I have to be honestly saying...
It was announced today.
That when I saw the footage of the game, It looks really cool.
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited about it.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn, just finish the goddamn comic book. Come on, man.
Why? He can sucker you into buying another huge, oversized hardcover
Well,
of
no,
stuff that's not finished.
I'm gonna give that back to him. I'd be like, I'm gonna go to his table at a Comic-Con and go, okay, that new
Can I
book
get a
that's
refund?
complete. No, that new book that's complete. Let's just exchange it. I'll pay you $3 for the issue that I'm missing.
Jeez.
No, I'm kidding about that. But yeah, no, that was one of my all-time favorite books, and I think the game looks actually really, really cool.
Yep.
So good for them and doing it all independently. I think that's really, really cool.
Well, maybe what he's doing is finishing the comic in the RPG.
It's quite possible, but whatever, man. But it's still, man. Come on, Joe, man. After all these years, man.
Think you get it over with, huh? One of these days.
Or you think I get it over with, but I haven't.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up now. Thank you, everyone. We have to go. Before we go, we have to thank a few people on Patreon because of that annoying way that Patreon is still going through and working out everything, even though it is September. We're still thanking people from August or July. Processing the August ones now.
Oh, Jesus.
Right. Well, no. So next week, all the new people will be mentioned. So sorry, running a little late here, but let's thank Albert Soy. Don't forget his app, Plant Everywhere. It's a cool little photo sharing app. Go check that out. It's on iPhone right now. Hopefully Android soon, so I can check it out.
Same here.
Jody Lawson and the Canon Triad Comics Anthology at triadcomicstudios.com. They've got some indie comics. Go read those. And then Julian Titus with the Nerds Without Pants podcast at pixelbit.com, pixlbit.com. Go listen to them. And thank you again, of course, to all our backers on Patreon, new and old, young and
thank you guys.
Old.
We do appreciate it.
A lot or a little or nothing. It doesn't matter. We appreciate it at every level. Thank you, everyone else that didn't donate on Patreon for listening to this episode.
Jesus.
We love you too. Oh, I should actually say,
Jeez, you're just spreading the love. How much of that Dayquil did you drink today?
Oh, I'm fine. Before we move on, I know we talk about Patreon. I'm sorry. I know we talk about our digital comic store, digital.comicsconspiracy.biz, connected to Comixology, which is a digital website that you can buy and read all your favorite comics on. I should announce that they actually picked up a couple big things recently, including Weekly Shonen Jump, which is the weekly manga anthology. It's probably the biggest comic in the world. Especially weekly.
On subscription too?
Yeah, you could subscribe to that. If
I remember, that's actually fairly cheap, right?
It's like $1.99 an issue, I think, digitally.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a pretty good deal.
Is it on a weekly basis though? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like $10 a month.
I think so. Yeah. So you're getting
like $8.
You'll get the digital
$6. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can now get it through Comixology, and not only that, but Kodansha, who is one of the largest manga publishers in the world, has also joined Comixology. So for all you fans of Attack on Titan, they're all now on our digital website at digital.comicsconspiracy.biz.
Cool.
I haven't checked out a full list, but Kodansha publishes a lot of huge titles, so go check them out. Tons of manga for you to read on there if you're a fan of manga. And the prices are reasonable. With Viz and Kodansha on there now, there's no reason to go anywhere else because that's huge. That's most of the manga published are under those.
It's like Disney picking VHS over Betamax.
Sure.
That wasn't Disney. That wasn't Disney. I picked it. I tell you up front, that's supporting.
The two you look at for picking a new media or a new physical media is porn and Disney. Those are the two you look at.
I tell you up front right now, that was the porn industry that decided that one.
So go check out digital.comicsconspiracy.biz and buy all your Attack on Titan manga.
That should be the name of the sale that they have for that stuff.
They should. And don't forget to go to geekbox.net where you can listen to all our previous episodes and go on iTunes, subscribe to this podcast, rate and review us.
Have you looked at any of the reviews?
It's been a little while. I haven't looked. I got to check that.
I remind you every week.
I know. Forums.geekbox.net and the Geekbox Facebook group. Go check those out. You can talk to us on there. Don't forget the digital website again, digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. Go buy your comics there. Patreon.com/comicconspiracy. You technically still got a couple days. Oh, no, you don't because it's processing August now. Well, if you want to pimp something, to have your name read on this podcast, to get some awesome comics in the mail, go to patreon.com/comicconspiracy and you can do that for next month. ConspiratorBrock.com, that's Brock's blog, and Videopolis. Go check him out there. Infinite Longbox Podcast and Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast. Those are Charlie's other podcasts, and he should be back next week. So, Charlie, we miss you.
The Santa Clara School District started up this past 2 weeks, so he's probably been busy with
He's got kid stuff, yeah. So he'll be back next week. On Twitter, I'm Ryan Higgins Ryan. Brock is Brock Sager. Bryce is Larson Bryce. Toby is Toby XI. And Charlie is Insanity in Chaos. Don't forget to listen to Geekbox, Comedy Button, Good Job Brain, the All Talk podcast. Little podcasts on our network here. So
are we gonna make a special announcement for you? A special thing that's coming up?
Are you talking about my my impending nuptials next weekend?
Yes.
You can, if you would like to. I'm getting married next weekend.
You're not getting next weekend. It's the weekend after.
Not this upcoming weekend. Yeah. Next weekend.
Yeah.
So next podcast, I'll still be a single guy. After that,